My name is Tami Kress, and I'm the Executive Director of Studio One. So we started doing shadow productions our second season, and it was the most amazing experience, and it has been every year. Just learning and growing and figuring out how to do it even better and create together with these two worlds. It's an amazing experiance.
Would it be easier to put it on
Because you've been
side?
doing
Yeah,
this spell.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. So you guys work that out somehow. You sing at Erica and let Erica take that.
Yeah.
So in a traditional hearing event, the deaf and hard of hearing ping pong between the event and the interpreters. So in a shadow production, we bring the interpreters onto the stage and they become part of the action. They become a part of moving the story forward. The actors and the terps create the characters together. And so it eliminates that ping ponging for the deaf and hard of hearing community. So it's this incredible experience where you can have two languages happening at the same time, and both the hearing and non-hearing world can experience it at the same time. It's amazing.
I think there are several really important parts when you're rehearsing for an ASL Shadow interpreted play. Now we're actually incorporated into the show. So not only are we now working on the translation, but also making sure that the blocking is correct, making sure we're standing in the right place, making sure that we are actually interacting correctly with the cast on stage. And so I think that's a really important piece of it.
So, I mean, there's layers to any musical, right? You have to learn the music, then you have to learn the choreography, then you have to do the blocking, and there's special effects, and there's set design. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go into that. But with shadow productions, we have to, keep in mind that there's twice as many characters on stage. And so we have to be super creative in the staging and the sight lines and where the interpreters are placed and making sure that they stay connected to their actors but are still facing forward. So there's a lot more layers that go into it, especially for the director. The actors and terps love working together and getting those moments together, and so we just have to make sure that we don't cheat them of those moments because we're working on, getting the signs forward, or that we're working on getting the layers for the people on the sides. We have to make sure that we work really hard so they still have those moments together, because first of all, they love those moments. It's so fun to see them together creating those characters. But another part, it's a very important part of the story. So that's probably the hardest part, is the number of people on stage and making sure that we keep the sight lines good.
Voila!
If there are complicated lyrics and words in the script that we have to interpret into American Sign Language, the process is actually quite similar to what we already do as interpreters, going from English to American Sign Language. They're both completely different languages, have their own syntax, grammar, sentence structure, all of that. And so we're having to take it from English to American Sign Language.
With any interpreting, they teach us to strip the message of its wording and find the meaning. What are they trying to say? In ASL, it is referred to as squeeze point. They reduce it down to what is the point? And then from there, you change it to fit culturally and fit within the time. If it's a very fast song, then you try and condense it down as much as possible so you can keep up and stay with them. If it's slower, then you can definitely get a little more flourishy, get some more complicated signs in there, but ultimately the first step to do is strip it down to its meaning, figure out how to say that.
So working with an interpreter counterpart is a really helpful process as you develop the character, because you have someone to bounce ideas off of, and not only you are portraying the character, but the interpreter's portraying the character as well. So they bring a depth and a nuance that maybe you can't present outright, but that they can present to the audience. So it's really interesting because the hearing audience gets some nuance that maybe the deaf and hard of hearing audience does not, and vice versa. Those who are watching the interpreters more closely get something that maybe the hearing audience doesn't get.
The process of working with an interpreter counterpart is so much fun. It is one of the most unique parts of being in this theater production, because you actually get to be with a character that's playing the same character as you, except they're doing the sign language. So you kind of feel like there's a shadow following you around the stage, but it's so cool and inclusive that we get to do this in the show.
Having interpreters on the stage with the actors is important because it invites the deaf people into the show. It's not just being interpreted for them off to the side and they have to look back and forth. They get to be involved and invited into the show just the same as their hearing peers.
Alright, we're gonna go the other way. Sing a mama, sing a mama, sing a mama, sing a mama, sing. Sing a mama, sing a mama, sing a mama, sing a mama, sing.
Something I look forward to the most about opening night is seeing all of our hard work actually getting put on stage in front of an audience. And once all the costumes and sets and props actually come together, the show is just magical.
When it comes to opening night, I think I look most forward to just hearing the audience respond to the production, and especially with a shadowed production, there are a lot of people who haven't ever experienced that before. So getting to see the responses of the audience and to see also a community that isn't often able to go to theater that's accessible for them, to get to see them enjoy a show is just a really exciting opportunity. So it's fun to see all of that kind of come together on opening night.
So the community has really reacted positively in a really great way. It really is a beautiful art form for the hearing community too, to be able to, again, experience those two art forms, those two languages at the exact same time, and to gain insight into how that works, and then just the beauty of how the interpreters and the actors work together, and what it says to people, and the message it gives. It's just this really beautiful moment. And you know, Little Mermaid, it talks about finding your voice. And what a beautiful way to talk about, we all find our voices in different ways. And to be able to do that with the shadow production, I think is really special.